Drenguinsi means good day in Gwinchen, one of the local languages spoken in Yukon Territory. I'm Judy. The people of Yukon Territory thank you for all the courageous efforts you make that bring peace and unity to all of God's beloved inhabitants on our beautiful planet. Welcome to part one of our two-part series, Climate Crisis, Our Oceans Are Rising. In this series, we will learn about the effects of the climate change crisis on our oceans, how this affects our world today, and what we can do to reverse the damaging impacts. The current climate change crisis is a result of global warming, which has occurred due to an exponential increase of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. Also known as the greenhouse effect, these naturally occurring gases trap some of the sun's heat inside the Earth's atmosphere, preventing it from reflecting back into outer space. For thousands of years, the level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere have remained reasonably constant. However, after more than 150 years of industrialization, deforestation, and large-scale raising of livestock animals, the quantities of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere have risen to record levels, not seen in 3 million years, and they continue to rise ever higher. This is creating catastrophic impacts on our planet's global weather patterns, resulting in severe floods, droughts, storms, and fires that are wreaking havoc on the Earth's inhabitants. However, these weather changes are only the short-term negative effects of the climate change crisis that we have been experiencing. What has been happening to our ocean is far more severe and has much long-lasting consequences. For the past 50 years, the ocean has been absorbing 90% of all the heat generated by global warming. The ocean covers about 70% of our Earth's surface and is therefore the largest solar energy collector on the planet. This means it can absorb, store, and release large amounts of heat without a noticeable increase in temperature, and thus acts as the ultimate regulator of the planet's climate system. Unfortunately, with the ever-increasing concentration of greenhouse gases, Global temperature have continued to rise, and much of the excess heat is being trapped in the upper levels of the ocean. This is causing the water to become warmer and to expand, therefore leading to a consistent rise in sea levels. However, the sea level doesn't only rise due to the expansion of seawater. It also rises as a result of water runoff from the melting of ice sheets and glaciers at both the North and South Poles. Our sea levels have been steadily rising since the start of the 20th century, when record keeping first began. Data shows us that from 1901 to 2010, the global average sea level rose by 19 centimeters as ocean expanded and ice melted due to global warming. Currently, the biggest contribution to sea level rise is the melting of polar ice. Of all the ice in the world, 99.5% is contained in the ice sheets and glaciers near either the North or South Pole. The largest source is the Antarctic ice sheet. Antarctica, the fifth largest continent, accounts for 8.3% of the Earth's surface. The Antarctic ice sheet contains 90% of the Earth's ice. The second largest source of sea level rising is the Greenland ice sheet, located on the world's largest island, covering 1.2% of the global land surface. But now, this ice is rapidly disappearing, particularly around the South Pole. The melting of Antarctica's ice sheet is currently responsible for almost 25% of global sea level rise. If it were to melt completely, it could raise sea level by as much as 58.3 meters. This is what makes Antarctica the most critical indicator of how quickly our oceans will rise over the coming decades and centuries. Loving viewers, we'll take a short walk outside to enjoy the fresh air while we appreciate all that nature has given to us unconditionally. We'll be right back after these important messages. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back, climate-savvy viewers. We have learned what causes sea level rise and how quickly it's happening. Now, let's better understand the effects of sea level rise on our planet and the tremendous danger we find ourselves in. Over the past 26 years, between 1993 and 2019, the Earth's sea levels have risen by 91 millimeters by adding about 3.5 millimeters each year, according to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, and the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, CSIRO, in Australia. This may not sound like an alarming amount, just as a rise in global temperature of 1 degree Celsius doesn't sound dangerous. However, the effect of this less than 1 centimeter increase each year has had a disastrous effect on our world's low-lying coastal habitats. The esteemed climate scientist, Professor Andrew Shepard from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom stated, as a rule of thumb, for every centimeter rise in global sea level, another 6 million people are exposed to coastal flooding around the planet. our beloved Supreme Master P.2 has also spoken many times about the risk of rising sea levels and the devastating consequences we face as a result.
You can see how many disasters, more frequent and more fierce, everywhere in the world, not just in the poor country.
Puede ver cómo hay más desastres más frecuentes y más temerosos en todas partes, no nada más en los países pobres.
Tens of islands already underwater.
Decenas de islas, incluso naciones, están debajo del agua.
80 at least, and others are sinking.
Y otras que se están hundiendo también.
Yes. Hundreds of thousands of people have to relocate it.
Cientos de decenas de personas tienen que ser relocadas.
Because of rising water, and the sea is warming because of methane and everything, and all the runoff chemicals. And then the sea warm more, the ice melts more, and the sea keeps rising. So people have to run either because of sinking island, or rising sea level, or floods, or drought. It's all extreme.
Así que es todo muy extremo. La gente tiene que huir, ya sea porque aumenta el nivel del mar, porque se hunde la isla, por las inundaciones, porque hay desertificación. Todo es muy extremo.
Because as the ice melts at the poles, North and South poles, beneath Greenland, pressure shifts on the Earth's plate. That could trigger movement to cause earthquake. The release of even more carbon dioxide and heat-trapping methane from thawing regions of permafrost. Global sea level rise that is forcing people from their home. It's not just the earthquakes, it's not just a tsunami, it's not just a typhoon, it's not just the cyclone, it's the rising sea levels as well. Force people to lose their homes, their ancestral home, to go begging elsewhere. Losing also their dignity, the power to take care of their own family, losing their grace, losing their status of the caretaker of the family, losing everything, not just physical possession.
As we can see, we are facing a catastrophic change to our way of life if we cannot contain and then reverse the harmful effects of the climate change crisis that has ultimately been caused by human inhabitants. In our second episode, we will look at the solutions still available to us, which, if adopted by all of Earth's citizens, would bring about the changes needed.